this beautiful Friday morning. Hope you're all doing well. I myself am doing fine. I had a pretty boring 12-hour shift at work. I had to work 7 to 7. And I got to do it again tonight. So today will not be a very prosperous day as far as getting stuff done, because by the time I get some sleep, I'll only have 2 or 3 hours to do anything else today. 12-hour shifts are fun, though. Anyway, good morning to all you fine gentlemen. Good morning, Mister. Morning, TC. Morning, Tommy. Morning, Mr. Ed. It's good to see you this morning, Mr. Ed. Morning, Mr. Pete. Let's see. Anybody else? Good morning, Mr. Drummer. Hope all you gentlemen are doing well this morning. So, I carried 3 absolute bangers in my pocket last night. All 3 of these have perfect, what I consider perfect action. You get it past the lock bar, and it just, the weight of the blade just hydraulically closes. Makes a great sound, great lockup. Weird blade shape. Number 1. Weird blade shape number 2 was my ether, and it also has that same action. Just hydraulically closes, no shaking needed. Love this knife, super smooth. Yeah, that's why I sent my bead to you, was to get you to make me a crazy one, but I love the one I got, but I would like another. I have been using it, and it actually makes pulling your knife out of your pocket super easy. I kind of understand why you use one all the time, Ed. And last but not least is the other weird blade, not really weird, that I got in yesterday. This is the Kaiser Crest, and this one has probably the best action out of all of them, with the cheapest little plastic bearings. I mean, it's just got buttery smooth action. This knife is thinner than I expected, side to side. I wanted to measure it. I'm guessing it's pretty close to 0.4 and not much over that. I prefer 0.5. But let's see what we got here. I didn't have these with me, so 0.429, 428. So, in comparison, the ether is 0.477. But yes, this knife is a great size for most people. I wasn't expecting anything from it. Didn't really know how big it was. Didn't expect it to be a big knife. It's very comfortable though. Can't really choke up on it. The guy that I got this from evidently did a high voltage green to the clip and the back spacer, because that's not how this knife comes. Yeah, it made pulling my knife out of my pocket like effortless, and almost seemed like not as dangerous. Not that pulling my knife out of my pocket feels dangerous, but it's like adding a handle to anything. Like anything that needs a handle, you add a handle to it, it seems to work a little easier. But yes, I agree. Edyards do serve a purpose that I was not completely aware of before using one for a couple of days. All right, got a few things to talk about this morning. Starting with some previews of what the Mojave looks like. They started getting delivered yesterday, was the first day. And so there are video and comparisons. So we're going to check that out first. Let me get some links brought up here. All right. Let's watch a video of the action on one of them first. All right, where's the video? Come on. All right, here's the video. We bring that up on screen. Firefox, trippy visuals. All right. So let's listen to it. Well, let's see it. Looks like it's got pretty good action. All right. So there's a little bit of the action. Now, a guy just posted a comparison between the real one and the clone. Let's hear what he thinks. The dog likes it. Yeah, I'm telling you, they're getting it dialed in with their OEM. Their OEMs are. Yeah, so that's something of note. It is a little larger than the original, I do believe. He does a comparison here in a second, and it's not the angle of the camera. So you can see that it's, whoops. And that doesn't bother me a bit. I love big knives, so just a little bigger. Now, something else I noticed. The originals have the lock bar insert screw on the outside, but the clones have it on the inside. I prefer it on the inside, so I'm curious why they chose to do that. Other than, and I'm not just imagining things, am I? There's not like a screw there somewhere. No, it's definitely on the inside. Looks like the blade, okay, the blade grind is a little further off of the scales. He said the milling looked good down through there. The gap around the frame is larger, which the frame lock, the lock bar, sorry. I don't like when they have those wide gaps like that, so that does make me a little angry. Hopefully, if Lemifshi comes out with one, he does a little better on that. It looks like the clip doesn't extend quite as far, but that could just be the angle we're at. But it looks like the milling underneath the clip is a little bigger. but it's not much bigger in size. I think he moves it again. The blade looks a little wider, and the blade shape does kind of, I don't know, something around in here looks wider, so therefore it kind of makes it curve a little. This one looks like it's more straight. It is a little curved, but I don't know, there are subtle differences. So hopefully Lemifshi will address a couple of those issues. The the flipper tab on the clone is bigger. The clip is wider and bigger. The whole knife proportions are just a little too big. I mean, to be an exact copy. I'm sure it'll be a great knife. It'll give you a feel as to what that knife feels like, but not exact because it being bigger. Anyway, I thought that was interesting to see. Let's see, what else? Oh, I bought a few funky knives. I got one of those Flatanium beefs last night because I've been wanting to check one of those out. Beef. Let's see. I bought this beef right here, and it comes with 2 sets of scales and a black blade, but I got it for $30. So I thought it was worth that to check it out for $30. Never been carried. I also bought a crazy Kaiser, which is not my normal type knife, and that is this same guy. Hold on just a second. I bought a bunch of knives from this guy. Keep clicking on the wrong one. Here we go. So I bought this knife, which is not really my style other than it being a Kaiser, but I thought it would be a good one to add to my collection because I've not seen it before. Jared Price is the designer of it. It's called the WPK, as you can see right there. And it is a friction folder. So I was unaware that Kaiser had that knife. I think it's an older knife. But yeah, it's a little friction folder from Kaiser. I think they were around, $199 when new, and I got this one for $80. $80 seems to be the going price for used Kaisers that are titanium. I got this one for $80 also. I'm happy to pick up just about any Kaiser that's titanium you want to give me for $80 that I don't already have. And I almost bought another Kaiser just for y'all because of how good it is, and figured one of y'all would like it. And it's still for sale, but it is this Kaiser T1. The T1 is a great Kaiser, and this one has had a little bit of a custom job done to it with a lightning ano. And he's only asking $60 for it right now, so I bet a $50 offer would get this knife. Centering looks great. Lockup looks a little heavy, about 50%, but rather have more than not enough. Did I see that the guy tested the Wii? What did he test? The Wii, no, I don't need another Crest TC. Thank you, though. Wii Banter. I did not see that, Michael. Let's go back. And Boker D2 59.6. We 20 CV at 60.6. Another, the full size beg lighter in S35 VN at 60. And the Banter, wow, 55.6. Very interesting. I had another video we're going to watch this morning and discuss. Let me find that. It is right here, actually. All right. So let's just get into this video. Whoops. We're going to watch this whole thing. Morning, Andrew. All right, so here's the video we're going to watch and then discuss afterwards. I might pause it while he's talking to give my opinion on a few things. All right. Okay, this is Emerson. Ernest Emerson, the guy that makes Emerson knives. Hold on, we're not at the right place. Forgive me. Let's go back a little bit. I think I skipped ahead. All right, hold on. All right. Hold on. Hold on. It's got to be coming up here. All right. Whoops. Y'all can't hear it. All right.
Every industry.
I just now got to the point where he was. All right.
Full frontal.
Here's what he says.
Or diluted, or is there growth?
All right, sorry.
Are you saying?
Took me a minute to find it anyway.
We are under attack. And I mean full frontal assault from China. And it's hurt our industry. It's hurt our industry bad. And can I talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, please.
I'm
Absolutely.
very passionate about it.
That's why you're here.
The Chinese, as we all know, are doing everything that they can to undermine every industry that we have in the United States, because we're at war with them. Whether there's ever been a shot fired yet or not, they're in full 100% offensive warfare against the United States on every level that exists, from TikTok to every other influence they have, and they, for some reason, also said, well, we can probably attack the knife industry too. So they started, because a lot of companies we're having knives made in China.
Morning, B. Shady.
Even
Morning,
from
Trouble
the very
Bunny.
beginning, because the Chinese society, if you will, doesn't have the same sense of ownership that you or I have, where it's like, that's your design,
Right.
that's your thing. And we also, we're not all angels, so we do protect ourselves with patents and things like that. We have that in place. In China, they don't.
There's no legal
They don't
repercussions.
give a shit about it.
Yeah. They're like, fuck
nothing.
your patent.
Yeah, we'll take whatever we get our hands on. So even back in the day before China, and again, when I was working at Hughes, that's back in the 80s, right? All of the briefs that we had all the time, because I had a top secret clearance as a result of where I was working, because we were doing NSA stuff and all that, all those satellites and all that. But we would have constant FBI briefs about, if a Chinese person ever talks to you, they're a spy.
Yeah.
Every single one of them is a spy.
So
now,
there's a
doesn't
few
mean they
things
went
he
through
says
their version of the farm or anything like that.
that I
but
appreciate.
as
I'm
an
going to pause
individual,
it a
even
couple times.
to student or anybody, they might be here, but grandma, grandpa, mother, brothers, sisters are still in China, and they are not allowed to come here without knowing that, dude, if you run into something, you got to feed us
it's
information.
It's their duty to collect.
Yeah,
it's
you
a
got to
duty.
collect.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, the Chinese decided that they were going to pick the knife industry too, because what they were doing was all of these companies, and
I don't like the fact that he said the
that's another
Chinese
thing
decided
that
they're going to pick the knife industry. They compete with us and try to outdo us in every industry of sales, and knife is a big sales area, so they didn't just focus on it.
proud of.
In particular, that they do it with all industries.
Always have been, always will be. And that was part of my charter, is I want my friends to work for me.
Yeah.
So these are American workers. I wanted to give jobs to guys. I wanted to pay their mortgages. I wanted to put their kids through school. So that was who we were and what we were all about. But at the same time, all of the companies, and I can name them all, Gerber, Buck, Spyderco, Kershaw, every company under the sun, they were running at full speed to get their stuff on the boat to get over to China and have them make those knives, because they could buy, literally, honest to God, you could buy knives by the pound. That's no bullshit.
Yeah.
You could buy a box of knives by the pound. And so the profit margins were
Massive.
huge. Yeah. And which is another thing that I'm a little pissed about, because I could be a fucking billionaire by now if I was if I had jumped to China.
Outsourced.
But that's not who I am. Because once you sell your soul to the devil, there's no buybacks, returns, or exchanges.
Yeah.
Not allowed. But they took all that over to China. Well, they didn't realize that if I'm let's say I'm XYZ Knives, and I'm having them made at this place in China where all the Chinese knives are made in the same spot. They were making my 5,000 that I ordered, but they were making 2,000 that were going out the back door.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that wasn't, in their view of things, that wasn't a bad thing to do. That was just business.
Wasn't.
Right.
That was just good business.
We have a little bit different view on that. And so anyway, then the Chinese started to understand, it's like, why do we need Gerber?
See, well, another thing you've got to realize about the Chinese is, since they're run by their government, they don't have the same sense of ownership that people here in the United States do. So they can't relate to intellectual property, because everything is property of the government. So they don't ever get singled out and appreciated for any ideas that they come up with, because their ideas go to the government, and the government uses those ideas and benefits from it while they stay a citizen. Some of them there are lots of Chinese millionaires and billionaires that come up with great ideas. So, but they don't have the same sense that we do. So you've got to take that in consideration when you think about these people making these knives. They don't have the same thoughts of theft. They don't know what stealing a design from somebody is, because everything belongs to their government.
Why do we need Buck? We can make those same exact knives and just go straight into the United States and come up with a goofy name, We Knives, or,
Right.
you know, I don't even know the names of some of the damn things. I'm so pissed about it, I block them out of my fucking memory. And they came, this took a long time. This took about 20 plus years because at the time, you know, working at Hughes and all that, all of the machines that we would surplus out, because I was always looking at buying used machinery and stuff to make my own company and get it. The Chinese were buying every lathe, every mill, every single drill press.
Just to block you?
Yeah, just to block Emerson knife. No, just to get over to China to repopulate their factories with modern,
so they could get better machinery.
even though they were used with modern technology equipment to upgrade their
Antiquated nonsense.
yeah.
Well, also too, anytime that they buy shit like that, they just reverse engineer it, and now they
100%.
You know, they're like, oh, yeah. Well,
Just like our F-35.
I don't have to pay.
Yeah,
You know,
big
I don't
time.
have to pay any kind of anything because, like you said,
the
there's no
missile systems,
repercussions.
too.
There's no
Yeah.
legal. There's no legal recourse. So, like,
No.
no.
And the U.S. is our enemy, so
Yeah.
screw
Fuck
you.
them. Yeah.
So anyway, they realized that they could bring those knives directly to the market. And so they first started coming in. They were real cheesy. They were like those real sharp, no deburring, nothing. And man, I saw them evolve every month. There was a better version, until now. They actually
Listen
make
what he
better
says.
knives. They make better knives than I make. There's no.
So I thought that was very good of him to say, and I appreciate that. As much as he hates to say it,
They actually make better knives. They make better knives than I make. There's no, you know, I'll just be upfront about it. Because we had a ton of counterfeits over the years, and
Oh, I bet.
they were horse shit. Believe me, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But man, they got so good that all of a sudden we started having guys going, "I need my knife sharpened." And they'd send it in. I'm like, dude, that's not. We didn't make that knife.
Yeah.
It's got
Yeah.
all metric parts in it and that, and that's not one of ours. No way, that's one of yours. I paid $250
Oh, no.
for it. It's a real one. And I go, no, man, it's not. But that happened more and more and more. But now they're just coming in full blown, hard charging with their knives. They're flooding the market. There's a magazine called Blade Magazine. There's about 25 ads in there from all the Chinese companies, big full-page ads and everything. And the knives, some of them are $500, $600, $700, $1,000 a piece. They're that nice. They're that.
okay. So I want to stop it here for a second, and I want to talk about something. So there are two types of people in this world. There are people that see something that's going on in this world and want to fight tooth and nail against it, even though they have no chance of changing it. Or there's people that are pragmatic about it and realize that things are the way they're going to be, and there's certain things that are beyond our control. And so someone like him that wants to fight against it so much, it's like pissing into the wind. I mean, you're not going to solve anything. The same with all these people that fight about clones and this and that. It is a reality. And you can either accept that reality and try to find some kind of good, or, you know, you don't have to find good with it, I guess, but you've got to realize that it is a reality. And the fact that he just said they make better knives than him shouldn't be a bad thing for the collector. I don't buy my knives. I don't know a lot of the stories behind the people that designed the knives that I like. I don't know them as a person. I don't know what they've done in their community. I don't know much about them. Yes, I like the fact that they're fellow Americans that came up with a cool design, but I'm basing my likes on the knife, how it functions, how it looks, how it feels. And he goes into here in a second that the only thing he can really tell that's any different is that there's no, quote, soul in the knives. And I was just curious how many people need soul in their knife. Like, I don't consider any of my knives, I don't have any soul attached to my knives. Now, if I got some custom knives, that might change because I would have a connection to that maker, and that might add a little more soul to the knives. But as it stands, I like knives for how they look, how they feel, how they cut. I don't need much soul in my knife. But like I said, these people that want to fight tooth and nail against this stuff, you've got to realize it's a reality. It's not going to change. It's only going to get better and bigger. And it's just a fact you've got to face. But yeah, he did say the screws and stuff were metric, so that's how he could tell. But that lets me know that there were other parts of it that he couldn't tell.
Good. But they're fucking Chinese trying to take over our industry. I just happen to be in touch with that industry, the cutlery industry. And it's a shame because this, I remember one time we were at a show, my son was with me, and he had wandered off to look at all the other stuff in the show.
You can say it's a shame, but then you need to work past that. Because it's not going to change.
That company or whatever, they're really nice knives. But he said, they have no soul.
Right.
And I was like, man, you nailed it. You nailed it. They have no soul. It's just that company that's making those knives right now.
There's 40, 50 people and $4 billion behind that knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here's the deal. Yesterday they were making doorknobs.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're not knife makers.
Yeah.
They're not Mel
That's
Pardue
shitty.
or Bob Lovelace or any of these guys that, take up a craft. They're not a blacksmith. They're not none of that. And, the unfortunate thing is that money buys advertising, advertising sells knives. And so it's a sad thing because it hurt our industry to the point where, being small like we are.
So what's the recourse to fixing some of that stuff? And I mean, I know Trump's talked about like tariffs, and I mean, if there's anything, granted, I'm sure there's a way for these people to
they're going to worry about
their
trying to
knives
fix it when there's no fix. Like
the chain to where
it's like that worrying about stuff that's out of your control will drive you nuts.
To where it looks like it's shit's made in
I learned a long time ago. I learned a long time ago to not worry about things that I couldn't personally control, because you'll drive yourself nuts worrying about it. And this is one of those topics. Like he just said, what's the fix? What's the recourse? There is no fix. There is no recourse. The Chinese are going to continue to make great knives. I mean, there is, and worrying about the fix and all that when you should be worrying about your own company and getting people excited about your knives more than those knives. If people are buying those knives, there's got to be a reason. Whether they like the price, or they like the different designs, or they like the different materials, or the different patterns, or whatever it is, there's a reason people are doing it. And I think American companies need to step up and realize that they're not going to stop it. So they've got to figure out another course, which means make something as quality for as good of a value. Figure out a way to do that.
Wherever. But I mean, I feel like there should be some recourse to design, not copywriting
infringement.
Yeah, copyright infringement.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
but I mean, what would be the recourse? I mean, you can't sanction the entire country of China for making a fucking knife that's
right. Especially a communist country. That doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
Here's the thing: the only recourse is people like me and you guys making other people aware that those knives are made by people getting a dime a week, and they're chained to their, they might be 12-year-old kids. And the reason that those knives are coming through is not because they want to make
That's
knives.
an easy cop
It's
out.
to fuck the
saying
American
that
knife
it's kids
industry.
making it. Like,
And again, like I said, we're not the
Come on
only
now.
ones. The auto industry, the tech
They got the same
industries,
CNC
the
operators
drug
we do.
industries, the legit drug industries, all of that stuff is being hammered. It's a full frontal assault. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
It's just making people aware. Don't buy something from your enemy. Don't give them a goddamn penny, because that money, where is that money going?
Yeah.
feed communism and drug trades or whatever.
And it's
or
to
enslaving
feed
kids.
their war machine, for God's sakes, man.
Which I feel like that should be some type of public service message, because I mean, there's so many people nowadays. They don't give a fuck if it's
people that do
I paid $150 for this fucking TV. They're like, yeah, no shit. Well, four 3-year-olds made that fucker in China, and you got paid.
And then they had their bodies donated to organ transplants.
Exactly.
I don't know.
I
think they're all attacking it like there's going to be some fix, and there's not a fix. It's going to keep. He just said that they make better knives than he does, but then he just said we shouldn't buy them. And money is all just an illusion anyway. It's all, the movers and shakers of the world are not tied to one country. They're tied to all of them. They profit off of wars and then rebuilding after wars. They make money on both sides of the system. So him saying us not giving money to our enemies, I mean, heck, they own, I don't know what's the percentage of what they own of this country already. But that's just another topic that is not a solvable problem. I mean, it's reality. They've got to come to grips with reality. And all these points are all just moot points that are not going to fix anything. And all they do is hurt this hobby because they're telling people to not buy better knives. And I just can't, as a logical person, understand why we shouldn't buy the best that we can for our money. And if we stopped buying Chinese goods, we wouldn't have 85% of the stuff in our house. So none of the electronics you own, none of the, so he can say that about knives, but I bet he's got a nice Samsung TV at home. It's just because he's in the knife industry that he acts like it affects him so much and we shouldn't spend a penny with them. But I guarantee you he's got a cell phone, and that headset he's got on right there that they've all got on came from China. So it's just a fact, I think in my book, of these people just being realists and realizing how there's certain things, once they get past a certain point, they kind of snowball, and it's not a problem that you can attack. There's other problems that can be fixed, that need to be focused on, instead of these huge ones that are going to continue to be the same way and just keep going further. But anyway, that's just my opinion.
There's the common, with the influx of everything from Amazon to, even Walmart, and I mean, stuff like that, to where, I mean, the company has gotten so friggin' big. Yeah. To a point where,
I think
when is enough?
Yeah.
And I think that is something that
we allowed it to happen, and I got it. I mean, if you go to my house right now, probably almost every single thing that's on my shelf is made in China.
Yeah.
I mean, the clocks,
we didn't have a choice.
TVs,
we stopped American manufacturing.
The only place they're made.
Yeah.
It's the only place they're made, so that's okay to give them money for that. But don't give them money for knives. See, that's the double standard that these people say.
So they took that manufacturing base away by undercutting all the prices, by using slave labor and whatever it is that they do.
However they did it, they did it.
We need, and thank God Donald Trump is a guy who is at least...
All right. So that's about all he had to say about that. But I just thought it was interesting to hear somebody that's in the industry try to explain, what the problem is, when really the problem is not coming to grips with reality. But I think a lot of people need to try to understand that the mindset that we have on everything is totally different than these Chinese people that work and live in the communist country. I mean, just like I said, they don't have that sense of individuality. They have a collective feel, and everything is the government, so they don't look at things the same way as we do. And I don't ever judge a country by their people. I judge it by the government. And so all those people over there, they have jobs. They get paid. They get paid enough to live. They don't, yeah, it's not all slave labor, just like Sever said. But we are at war with them, so our country is going to say the worst possible things we can say about them, just like they're going to say the worst possible things about us. But in reality, we're all humans just trying to, I'm sure there's lots of those people that take pride in their work in China. The people at Riot Knives, I'm sure, take great pride in the stuff they produce. And therefore, in my book, there's just as much soul coming from those people who take pride in their work as people here in the States taking pride in their work. So that was just my opinion on all that. I've voiced my opinion on it quite often. And I've also said that I think it's wrong for people to try to pass off clones as the real thing and get more money than they're worth. But if you see a knife that is supposed to be $400 selling for $100, if you're not smart enough to figure out that that's probably not the real thing and you're not getting it for 25% of what it should cost, and it's probably a fake, then I don't know what to tell you. I mean, there's ways to protect yourself, and there's also ways, that people that aren't very knowledgeable in it can get screwed, and I hate that. And, one of the things I was going to mention about all three of these knives that I loved is that there is no billboarding on any of these knives. There's no branding. There's no logos. There's no nothing on any of these. They don't even have the blade steel. I think the Ether might have the blade steel. No, I don't even think it has the blade steel either. It might. Yeah, it's got something. But this Kaiser doesn't have anything. The blade steel, name, designer, nothing. And I would prefer when they make copies for them to just do that. Just leave it plain. Make it look like the original, but don't put all the tags on it, because that just makes it easier for them to sell it as fakes and dupe unexperienced people out of, things. But at the same time, if you want something that looks just like it with the labels on it, you should be aware. I don't know. There's not much common sense is nowadays is the least common of all the senses, it seems like. So I know there's lots of people that think they found the deal of the century and end up getting screwed. Yeah, I think he did, because I'm sure all Kaisers have markings. So this one was modded by somebody, not sure who, but I went looking for the blade steel on it. So I guess when he did the ano, somebody else did something to the blade. I'm not sure, but I've not known any Kaisers to not have their KI number on there and the blade steel. Good morning, Pace Metal. Yeah, common sense is the least common sense of them all. But man, all three of these knives were made in China, and I love all three of them. They have great action. They feel great. They're all different in their own respects. One of them's a little smaller, thinner, thicker. This one is only made in China because it is a clone, but it has no branding on it. So there's not much of a chance that anybody would buy this one thinking it was real. But yeah, I just don't see how he can justify saying that they make better products than him, but don't buy them. I mean, I guess that's good business. Yeah, Michael said it great there. They could get the cost more in line with what we see. I mean, you can't take a knife like. Well, here, let me just show you one. By the way, my new Strix is actually showing movement now, and it's supposed to be delivered tomorrow. It's only one state away right now, so I think it might actually be delivered tomorrow. But I'm really excited to get the Strix, mainly because I want to see how much better it is than this one. And this one is another great example of one of the newer ones they've made that feels great. Everything about it, from the detent to the action to the milling and the no sharp edges. So, you know, when you can get this knife for $80 and the original is 4 times that, that's just a little too much of a gap. If it was twice as much, maybe even 2.5 times as much, that would be a much better thing to deal with than 4 times as much. But seeing what they can produce in China, granted, they don't have the same labor costs, so that is true, but we should be able to streamline processes, just like Michael said, and come up with some kind of, you know, way to bring the cost down. That's why I've been against companies like Benchmade for so long, because you see them making knives out of G10 that people right next to them make similar knives for half the price, even American companies. But yeah. Christopher, oh, you did get your null last night? That's pretty cool. Yeah. So hopefully we can get a comparison of these two. And yes, you're going to say there's better blade steel. But they just tested these knives, and their 154 CM was testing very nicely. And 154 CM is not a bad blade steel. Yeah, it'll be fun to see the differences in, like, the milling and the size and the edges around, like, the hole. And I'm going to be real meticulous about checking all the sharp edges. I'm going to try to do a pretty detailed video comparing the two. I kind of wish I would have got a Skelly one now, but I got the milled titanium one, so I won't be able to compare exact, but dimension-wise, they should match up. And the blades and the grind and all that stuff. But yeah, American companies need to come up with some other plan other than China is bad, don't buy China. Because that's not going to happen. They're not going to just automatically stop making them because we tell them to. So they've got to face reality. It's hard to say, Pace Metal. They haven't disclosed. Some people think that parts of the knife, like, are even being made by companies like We. There was talk last month that one of the new knives was made by We. I think they get the frames made from one OEM and the blades made from another OEM, and then they assemble them. But this one right here came from one of the known cloners now. I think it's Juful. I don't think it's Lemivshi. Not positive. I always forget which one is which. I have to go look at my orders to tell, but I think this is Juful. But yeah, Michael, it is bad. I don't like seeing the fact that we is dropping the ball like that on heat treat. Because with all the automated ovens they have nowadays with electronic, temperature control, they should be able to dial that stuff in and get it perfect every time. Just like these cryo heat treats that all these cloners are using, they've got it dialed in. Yeah, I think it's Juful. Yeah, Yangzing. They call it Knife City. That province where all the knives are made is. Let's see. Is there a Yangzing? Guangdong. This is the Knife City right here. It's in Guangdong, and producing nearly 70 to 75% of China's total knife exports and 85% of its total output. This city houses over 1,500 enterprises, knife enterprises. So this is the city that they call Knife City. The sector produces goods worth over 55 billion won annually, employing roughly 200,000 people. Yeah, so that's the name of the city. Um, 1,500 different businesses, 70% of China's output of knives, 85% of the total in China. And then North America is number one with 38%, Europe 33%, and then East Asia. But pretty wild. And these people that work at these places that are totally underpaid are able to go to these malls and buy stuff. These signs have Chinese on them. They don't, these malls have Chinese stores. Government support. See, that helps too. A lot of this money that we're blowing on military, they could subsidize some of these American knife makers and help them produce a product for cheaper. Give them some tax breaks. Give them something for manufacturing here in the U.S. Anyway. $1,500, not shops, 1,500 huge facilities. Yes, Pace Metal Fab. I talked about it yesterday about the drop, and I told everybody to set their alarm for 3 p.m. Central Standard Time if they want to get the Draco. $580 I'm going to be refreshing this page quite a bit around 3 p.m. Hopefully I get lucky. Yeah, we talked about it yesterday, Pace Metal. I guess there's 30 of each. There's 30 of the plain one and 30 of the DLC one. And there'll be more. They wouldn't make a production knife if they weren't going to make more than 30. But the DLC one is 600 and the regular one is 580. I didn't know if the Asgard new batch is out today. I don't imagine, but I didn't know there was a new batch of Asgards. I don't think there is. The drop, and look what day that was. I don't know if y'all know this. My birthday is September 19th. So the day they dropped, I didn't realize that. Or maybe I did. That's why I bought it. I bought myself a birthday gift. But yeah, it dropped on my birthday, but it doesn't show a date for the next drop. I haven't heard about when that next drop of Asgards is going to be. But these 30, I think, were kind of like a trial run. Because they would have made a lot more than 30. They're going to make a lot more than 30. All right, I had a couple of more things to talk about this morning, maybe. What was it? I did find a link to this, which I thought was funny. I didn't know they made a clone of this knife, but they do. So they make a clone of the little CRKT. I forgot what the model's called. Sure y'all know it. But yeah, they made a little copy of the CRKT. It's just an interesting conversation piece to have. Not a very practical knife. But for $19, I mean, come on. Oh, that's today, mister. Yeah, that's what we were just talking about. So we'll see. I hope I get lucky. I hope one of us in here gets lucky. I'll be happy for anybody here that gets one that's trying. I didn't want to bring it up again today because I don't want as many. I want to be stingy about it and not let people know, but you know, I can't do that. I've got to share it. If I don't get one, it wasn't meant to be. All right, let's see what else. Anything else pops up in my head today. That's a pretty Royal Oak. I like these new models of this Royal Oak that they're coming out with. Some of these companies are getting them down too, boy. Especially with those new free sprung movements. Assorted Dollar General knives hardness results. Let's check this out. Oh, it's just showing them on screen, I guess. 50 to 51. Wow. I didn't know Dollar General even had knives. 54. 55. Let's see what else we got. There was something else I was wanting to talk about. Dang it. I knew I should have made a note. I try to drop myself reminders on what I want to talk about. What do y'all want to talk about? Oh yeah, Michael. Mine have that little crown. Yeah, the etch. The etch on mine, a couple of mine have a nice crown. Let me show you here. Michael. Yeah, all mine have that crown laser etched at the 6 o'clock. I'm not sure I will be able to show you on this camera, but let's see if I can get the light to hit it right. It's right there. It's on the glass up above. Let me see if I can show you. But this is not even a good one, and they've got that down pretty good. Let me see. It's going to be hard to get a picture of it, but give me just a second. Well, let me check if I can get it on one of these other ones. I need to clean these off. I haven't worn these in a while, so hold on just a second. Let me check this one. Dang it, where are you? I can't get it to show that. Wait, there it is. All right, I'm hoping one of these pictures got it. Yeah. All right, here you go. This is about the best I can do right now in this situation. But right here, Michael, you can see the crown. Here you go. Watch stuff. This one isn't the greatest because, like I said, it's cheaper version. Why is the Discord not showing up? I just set it to the Discord. There it goes. So there you go. So you can see not bad for that little thing being as small as it is. And that was on this James Cameron version. Yeah, that's down there. I can't get it on this camera, but it's right down there on the glass. Maybe if I hold it at that angle, let's see. Come on, focus. Yeah, I just can't get the light to hit it. You can, oh, yeah, you can almost see it right there. It's tiny, tiny though. But yeah, they're getting crazy at their abilities. They get them weighted down to the gram. We need to plan just a channel meetup. If y'all wouldn't mind hitting that like button, I would appreciate it. Let's see, what else do y'all want to talk about today? Anybody run across any great deals recently? I'll tell you what, Mr. Aaron has got some of the best collection I've seen. Every knife he brings out is a banger. Mr. Bill asked him something about one of his knives being a clone yesterday, and I was like, man, if you watch consistently, every knife he shows is a banger, and he's definitely not the type I would think would own any clones. But Mr. Bill didn't know him, so he asked. But every single knife Aaron on the Discord shows is an absolute banger. I wish you could click on a person's name and see all the pictures they have posted, or see all their posts. But yeah, every knife he shows, like there's a nice Lamia. He posts a banger just about every day. They're all real. Yeah, he's got quite the extensive collection. Shout out, Mr. Aaron D2. Banger after banger after banger after banger after banger. And he looks like, from the band-aids in the pictures, he uses his knives. That's a pretty one. Yeah, Aaron's always got the bangers. I've never seen him post a knife I didn't like. Pretty wild, actually. How many he's got. I would love to see his collection. I mean, and he gets newer ones too. There's one of the new Titanium series. Yep, he's got a wide range of knives too. Anyway, enough about Mr. Aaron. What else do y'all want to talk about? Yeah, I didn't mean a full collection shot, but maybe a video of him walking us through. That would be awesome. But he's got enough value in knives I wouldn't want to show. I mean, he's got a couple $100,000 worth of knives, probably. Because I know what I've spent. Or I've got a kind of an idea of what I've spent. So I know he spent 150, 200 grand, something like that crazy. Yeah, that would be cool to see his collection, but I don't expect him to. So until y'all give me something y'all want to talk about, I'm going to look around over here at Knife Swap and see if there's any great deals. How much is this Rockwall? 170? It's got a couple spots on it. Something else I wanted to talk about too. I don't get to interact with too many other knife people that are into knives. My sister is one of the only ones I get to interact with on a regular basis that is into knives. But I don't get to like hang out and in person and talk to other many people. So whenever I show her a knife, like yesterday I showed her a couple. I showed her this one. I showed her this one. And something I realized is every time that I give her a knife, she opens it the way she can by either using the flipper tab or the thumb studs. And when I mentioned to her that reverse flick was my favorite way to open knives, she said hers too. But something I noticed about people with smaller hands, well, the first thing I noticed is that every knife I hand her, she never checks how it closes as far as like the hydraulic shut that I talk about all the time. She could care less about that. And I'm sure there's lots of y'all that are the same way. I take it for granted that the way I like my knives to feel and the things that I appreciate about my knives are totally different than what all of y'all appreciate about your knives. But she could care less about how to close it because she's a real knife user and uses it every day at work. So opening it is what she worries about because she's got to use it, and then putting it back up is just however she's got to. It doesn't matter if it hydraulically drops shut, you know. So she didn't worry about that at all. And the things that I want to show her about how good the action feels, she could care less about. She looks at it and says, oh, I like that blade shape. Or, oh, I like that hollow grind. I bet it cuts really well. She doesn't ever talk about, oh, that's just the smoothest close. Because in reality, that's just superficial and it's not the purpose of the knife. So everything she mentions has to do with how the knife performs, how it feels. Oh, that feels good in my hand. Or she mentioned, you know, I like thinner knives. Sometimes knives are just too thick for me. But something else I noticed is that she has little hands. So she couldn't get enough leverage, even though I consider that an easy front flipper. She couldn't get enough leverage because of the size of her hands to actually front flip this one. So she wouldn't appreciate, and she couldn't reach around with her finger far enough and get enough power to open it like that either. So it's just amazing to me all the things that I notice that are so different about different people in this hobby and what we like and don't like and what matters to us and what doesn't matter. And the more I'm in it, the more I see that, you know, it's kind of easy to tell who uses their knives and who just plays with them. by what they say they like about a knife. So I've realized I play with mine more than I use them because things like how it closes matter to me. When a person that uses it all the time, they could care less how it closes because the only reason they're closing is so they can just put it back in their pocket. But yeah, it was just something. Yeah, I tuned mine pretty good, and I've got this pivot super tight. I noticed that the pivot was loosening up, so I put some Loctite on it after I got it dialed in the way I like it. But yeah, just something I noticed from her yesterday. Pretty interesting. It's knife related, so I thought I'd talk about it. Yeah, its intended purpose is to cut, huh, Pete? I think that's pretty much all of them. Yes, Johnny hates books. Johnny hates books. Johnny doesn't read. Yes, sir, it is. I mean, I don't know if you have your slider slid all the way to the right and you're actually live, but yeah, mine did slam shut. I had to tighten the pivot super tight to get it to like drop hydraulically like this. I don't like when they just slam shut. Like my Buster, I had to do the same thing with it. I had to, because it just wants to slam like that. As soon as you get past the lock bar, it just, boom. See, that one just guillotine. Yeah, I think I'm lucky to get to appreciate all the different little aspects of a knife when some people that just use them as a tool don't get to enjoy that. I get a lot of satisfaction out of tuning my knives to be perfect for me in both detent and opening and closing. And I get a lot of enjoyment out of the tuning process and getting them all dialed in and seeing which, and there was a guy talking about, there was an old school guy, and I could just tell he was old by the way he was posting, but he was talking about one of these new mini FSDs, and he was unable to get it tuned right, and he had taken the set screws completely out of the pins, and he was like, it's just a piece of junk. It wasn't actually this, it was actually the Cortex, but it did have the adjustment pins, and boy, he didn't like those pins at all. He was like, why can't they just make a knife that works? So I had to talk him through and explain, but what I got to is it didn't have enough detent. He didn't like the detent on it. And so when you're tuning your knives, there's only so much you can do. You can't get all of them perfect because a lot of times the detent ball and the detent hole are not matched up exactly, or the hole is not big enough. So no matter what you do, even if you get those pins adjusted on these knives to where it's centered perfectly over the hole, it still might not have enough detent. So then if you add more pressure from the lock bar to give it more detent, you're going to lose the closing action. It's not going to drop shut. So there's only so much you can do to knives. Like this one, if it didn't have good detent and I had to add more pressure from the lock bar to get better detent, then it wouldn't close like this. So I like, a good balance of both. But man, he didn't like the new fandangled pins on these knives. And basically all it is on these knives, those two pins are just two stop pins that are adjustable. So you just got a stop pin for when it's open, and you got a stop pin for when it's closed. And when you're adjusting the detent on these knives, you're not really adjusting the detent. All you're doing is taking the detent ball, and wherever, if it's lined up perfectly in the middle of that hole and you adjust that screw, it's just going to move it away from the middle of the hole and give you less detent because it's not sitting down in there as far, but it's not adding any kind of pressure. So if you have it perfectly centered, that's the best the detent is going to get. There is no improving it because it's not adding any kind of pressure. It's just messing with the alignment, whether it lines up directly with the hole or over here on the edge of the hole to where it has less detent. So that's all these two pins are doing. One of them is for when it's locked open to where it interfaces with the lock bar. And then the other pin is when it's closed, how the detent ball interfaces with the hole. And I hope that explains it. But if this was the detent ball above that hole, when you adjust that screw, all it's doing is moving it to either side of the hole so that it's not locked in. And it took me a minute to understand what they were doing with those adjustment pins. But basically, it's just like a knife that has two stop pins, but you can adjust it a little bit. But old school guys, he just wanted his knife to have good detent. He didn't want to have to mess around, so I get it. But I guess he should have done a little bit more research before buying that knife, because that knife has adjustments. But these, I like that ability to fine tune a knife. So, but like I said, there's lots of people who could care less. So I love this hobby for that reason. All right. What else today? See if there's anything else that pops up in the knife swap this morning. Chad, Peregrine Falcon, a couple of clones. Oh, I thought about something else. I've talked about how my Chad will cut me if I'm not careful because of the blade, how big the blade is, and it reaches the end of the handle, and if you got any kind of fat bunched up, it'll cut you. I wondered if a compact Chad I would like better. Which Peregrine Falcon is this? The one I've got? Yeah, it's the old one, not the RT. Feeweed, Bundles, Sparrow Strix, Bark River, Kubey Weave, Vosteed, Spyderco. What do we got? Mini fixed blade, Titanium tie shaman scales. All right, then. Kubey Silo. We all know what that one is. Kubey Hamster. Kubey, or Wee High Fin. There's a high fin. Vosteed Hedgehog. Shilling Cutter. Joker, Knife Joker exclusive. There's a 7-day money back guarantee. All right. Anything else y'all want to talk about? Thumb stud Sweeney's are dropping in about a month. Oh, be shady, so it's the same? Okay. Thanks for letting me know that, because I might have tried a Chad But I guess if the proportions are the same, then it probably is as close to the end as the full size one. Something else, dang it. I wanted to talk about or show y'all. I just had it in my head. What was it? Man, that makes me mad when I forget stuff. Benny Sweeney, Chad. Good morning, Miranda. What did I want to say? There was something else. It had to do with my main knife case. I still haven't got those other 2 90 knife cases that I ordered. They'll be here on Sunday. I can't wait till I get those and I can sort some knives. There was something I was wanting to talk about though, but yeah, this Chad will definitely bite you. So if you get your palm anywhere like that right there, if I was to close this knife right now, it would cut me. And I don't have to think about any other knife like that besides this one. But if you let it bunch up any of the fat of your palm, it'll bite you. Because of how close, I have to like make a conscious effort to not get bitten by this thing every time I close it. Because of how close the blade gets to the end down here. This clip is not, I don't know what clip you're talking about. This one is, I think, pretty good. Let's see. Yep, pretty good. Doesn't take much at all, actually. Pocket clips are something else that I adjust to get right. A lot of times I have to take them off and bend them a little bit. Like, it makes me mad when I hear them make a noise when I tap on them because I know they're not laying against the scale. But there's a thin line about getting them laying right against the scale that helps on some clips. But this one, yeah, the Mini Sweeney. Some of them you can adjust, though, and get some of that tension out. Again, there's only so much you can do. I really like this Zen a lot more than I thought I would. I think it's because it's a frame lock, and I like frame locks. And, you know, I think I like a regular drop point blade too, and this one kind of has enough of a funkiness, but not really drastically weird. But yeah, I like the Zen a lot better than I thought I would. And I've got it dialed in hydraulically how I like it. So many good knives nowadays. Anyway, I don't even know what the Mini Sweeney clip looks like. Let's go check that out. Let's see what the last one. $3 months ago, this one sold for $210. Well, that clip looks like it should work okay, but what's going on with it? Probably not going to get a side view of it. Let's see here. Oh, here's a video. Slow down there, buddy. He rotated that way too fast. All right. It looks pretty wide. The area making contact. It looks like they should have made it come to more of a point. Yeah, it doesn't look... It's thick, though, so if it was... It's probably pretty strong, yeah. That's one of those ones you might have to bend out where it's almost off the scales. Cool looking little knife, though. I think I've only got one Vero now. And I've only got one Berg Blades. I've got one Vero. No, I got three Veros. Wait, I got the isotopes. I always forget about my integrals. Why doesn't Berg Blades make an integral? I love this tick, though. The tick is an awesome knife. I think they're releasing some more of those, or they just did, or one of those drops. This one does not have the hydraulic drop. I have to shake it quite a bit. I don't know why I've never gone in and tuned that one. This one about has the hydraulic a little bit better. Yeah, the tick is a nice knife. All right. But I swear, man, Tuya Knives has impressed me with action. Out of all the knives I've gotten, they've consistently had the most drop shut guillotine action of any knives I have. I have to tighten the heck out of these pivots to get them to not just slam shut. I think this one is probably the best, but it just closes. Tuya Knives. Oh yeah, I think Pete bought a new Tuya knife. The BEDC Sex. Any of y'all yeah, it's amazing to me, y'all people that don't use clips, because I get rid of knives if they don't have a clip. But what do y'all think about that Tuya Knives? What do y'all think about the blade on this thing? Definitely a little too weird for me. You know, it's designed after the Viking. I love. I think he was right, though. The price on these is a little too high. They need to be down closer to the $200 mark, my book. And it's got such a tall profile in the middle. It's not my style. And it's the Viking is S-E-U-X. No, S-E-A-X. So that's where the end of it comes from, is these Viking. Just got that straight, dang near 45-degree angle. Condor Norse Dragon 6. And Emerson makes one. So the guy we started the video with makes one. Definitely not my style blade. Well, thank you, Pete. I think you'll like my knife if I ever come out with one. Because it'll have features from about 10 different knives combined. I'll have to make a couple of different blade shapes. The Malice and the Mini Malice are two knives I think I want too. And they have holes in them, if I remember right. But I like the Malice and the Mini Malice. I wish it wasn't a plunge lock. Wish it was a top liner lock. Companies need to start re-releasing some of their knives in top liner locks or top frame locks that are button lock knives. But that's my style as far as the hand. You know, I could do without the button. I wish it was a frame lock. Like if that was a frame lock, I would have already bought one. But that's my blade shape and the choil. I love lots of things about that knife. Yes, some button locks are up to par as far as the lockup, but most all of them have just a microscopic bit of wiggle that I just can't stand. And then some of them stick a little bit, and I don't like that either. I don't have, in my nice knife case here, I doubt any of them. I doubt there's not a single button lock. Oh, by the way, I was watching Sever's video of his knife. Sever, you were talking about you didn't know of any other knives that were constructed that way, and I commented telling you that this one is. But this one has the same kind of deal with the two internal screws and the tabs. It's got the same exact little tabs that yours has. So Riot does do that with a few of their knives, and the Tiger is one of them. It has no external screws, and it's just got the little tabs like yours does. Yeah, I meant to show you that some other time. We looked at that. It's only got two where yours has three, but it's got the same little tabs. They work the same way. I'm not sure. I think on yours, one tab is attached to one scale and one tab is attached to the other. I think both these tabs are on the same side of the scale, but I don't totally remember. I need to do a breakdown pick of this. That would be a good one to do since it's got all those internal stuff. And I think each one of those tabs is screwed on to the scale. Yeah, it's no problem, Sever. I know nobody's seen every knife, so it wasn't a. I think all knives should be constructed that way, as far as looks go. Because I would much rather, out of these two Riots, I just don't like the screws, even though this one just has one. And they did do the clip. I think all clips should be attached from the inside of the scales. And I think all knives should have tabs and go together like this. Now, actually, I don't think all should. But it does clean up the lines. But if they can get it down to just one, I just think that looks so much better. Man, I'm losing my voice a little bit today. That's a chunker of a knife. And this is a guillotine for sure. This is another one where I had to tighten the pivot way too tight. I almost feel like I'm about to crush the ceramic balls in the bearings when I tighten them that tight. But this blade just wants to slam shut. Well, all right, guys, you got me going through old knives now. Y'all hadn't mentioned nothing to talk about, so I'm going to wind this one down. We're pushing the hour and 45-minute mark. I want one of the new ones I just showed that Aaron had. The Flatanium. I want one without a thumb stud. I can't even find mine. Don't even know where it is. But I want one with the blade hole. I think the blade hole on those looks way better. On the Theory. Where's my Theory? Heck, I don't know where it is. Don't see it anywhere. Aha. Yeah, do y'all think I should try to put my own blade hole in this knife? I want the Theory with the blade hole, and I bet I could take these thumb studs out and mill my own hole in there. That might be a good Thursday project one day for us to put our own blade hole in. Does the new one with the blade hole, does it come down into the blade grind, or did they change the blade grind? That's a question I've got too. Flatanium Theory. Okay, so it does come down into the blade grind. So they didn't change anything about the grind. And it looks like it lines up with where the thumb stud is. Here's a comparison back and forth. Try to hold it at that angle. But it looks like it starts right where the thumb studs are and goes down into the blade. I've done blade holes that turned out pretty legit, mister. The one I did on my, the one I did on this one looks pretty great. I tried to make it bigger at one end. I wasn't trying to make it symmetrical. But the edges are all nicely rounded and it feels great. Yeah, the high fin hole mods are awesome. But I did that one. So it started off with just a hole this size. Let me show you how big that is. I don't have a flathead screwdriver anywhere. Does my Gerber dime have one? It better. I wanted to show you, I need to get a flathead. Yeah, let me show you how big the hole was. Oh, I think these have T8 Torx in the middle. I don't know. So the hole I started out with on this blade hole was this size right here. So the hole it started as was that big because it had one of these. It had one of these in the blade, and that was the thumb stud. So that's how big the hole was, and that's how big I made it. Yeah, Aaron I just showed a video of Aaron with the hole mod. The same guy on Instagram does a bunch of those. I think this is a T10 maybe. No, it is a T8 in the middle. I don't think I got that one. I didn't get that in there right. It must be D-shaped. There we go. Now it's back to right. All right. Thank you, Gerber Dime, once again. I think I'm throwing this in the pocket today. Been a while since I carried it, and I miss it. Yeah, I want to put a little chamfer around the edge. Whatever blade hole I make. Well, all right, peoples. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for joining me today. Oh, one last thing. Y'all know I sold that Sonora 3 weeks ago or something. Well, when I got it, the only thing it didn't come with was the coin. So I messaged Machine Wise, even though I sold the knife, I wanted to hook the guy up. So I messaged Machine Wise and they sent me 2 coins for free, according to which bolster I had. And he got the copper bolster, so I will send him this coin, and I will be able to keep myself a coin for free. And if y'all haven't seen these, they say, "This was your bolster." That's what their little coins are. So they sent me, all I had to do was pay for the shipping. And I'm going to send this to the guy that bought the knife so he'll have the complete set. I didn't have to do that, but I thought if I was able to. I told him I would cover the $8 if he just covered the shipping from me to him. So I paid for the $8 to get it shipped to me, and then he's going to pay for me to ship it to him. And after seeing how small it is, I might just send it to him. If I could get it, if I felt like I could get it in an envelope and it would make it, I would. But if it's only going to cost $4 or $5, I'll just send it. And I got another sticker out of the deal, since I had to send my sticker I got with him for his collection. So that was cool. All right, people, one last time. If you hadn't hit that like button, please do so on your way out. I love and appreciate all of you. Thank you again for talking about blades this morning with me. I'm definitely not muted. Mr. Puck Elf, Mr. Drummer, Mr. Mitchell, Mr. TC, Mr. Pete, thank you, sir. Mr. Bob in the background back there, Mr. Sever 7, Mr. Christopher, Mr. Mitchell, Miss Miranda, along with Miss Trouble Bunny. Who else? Mr. B. Shady, of course, counting that money. Mr. Nick, can't forget about Mr. Nick. Mr. Pace Metal, thanks for joining us this morning, sir. Anybody else that I forgot? Oh, of course, Mr. Ed. I think he probably passed out on us. Perfectly acceptable. I'm going to do the same here shortly. Mr. Ashton, thank you. Mr. Cliff, I didn't see you pop in this morning. Morning, sir. I think I just about got everybody. If I missed you, I apologize. Yes, stay warm. Huck Elf is gay. No, I'm just joking. And I mean that in the true sense of the word, happy. Anyway, appreciate y'all.